So out here in Oregon for a quick weekend of landscape photography. And of course, having planned every hour of this trip out perfectly, my flight got delayed a couple of hours and I got forced to adapt on the fly. So now adjusting my itinerary to do a couple waterfalls I was going to do tomorrow without any chance to pre-plan in advance. So currently scrambling with my last hour or so of light here to try to come away with something.
After scouting out my waterfalls, I hiked back into town to catch the sunset light over the Rogue River.
All right, so I'm here at, I believe this is called Mill Creek Falls, and I scouted this location out earlier today, scrambling around looking, and I believe I found probably the best composition in the area right here. All right, well, coming to you from the small town of Prospect, Oregon, about an hour away from Crater Lake National Park. This is a bucket list trip for me. Ever since I first saw a picture of Crater Lake, it's always been somewhere I've wanted to go. And from the pictures I've seen, winter seems like the most impressive time of year to go. It's just one of those places, though, that you can't really tie it into another itinerary. It's not going to be a place that's nearby another place you would just happen to be. It's kind of its own trip in that respect, and that's part of the reason it's taken me until now to come out here. But I went ahead and pulled the trigger a couple of months ago to get a flight out here, and I've been watching the weather really closely because my ideal conditions for a trip like this would be to have like a fresh blanket of snow that fell like the day before, and you still have some clouds and mist in the mountains, and the sun comes up and you get a big colorful sunrise. Of course, in reality, those kind of conditions are so hard to come by. And certainly when you have to fly out to a place, you're just never going to be able to predict those kind of things unless you're made of money and you can plan flights a day in advance and eat the cost. But if you're like a normal person like me and you try to plan these trips 3, 4, 5 weeks in advance, when the flight prices are reasonable, you just kind of pick your flight and you cross your fingers. And last week, I had, at the last second, was considering delaying the trip or expediting it, because last weekend it looked like the conditions might have been pretty favorable, but ultimately stuck with the itinerary I have. And really, when it comes to travel photography, there's real 3 possibilities of how the weather is going to pan out for you. Possibility number 1 is you're just going to get boring weather, blue skies. You're going to have light, you're going to have pictures. They just might not be the amazing, like they might not be the top of your portfolio kind of pictures, but you're going to get pictures in those conditions. It's just, not ideal. Possibility number 2 is that your trip gets destroyed by a snowstorm or overcast skies and there's just nothing to work with. And, that's the worst case scenario. And then possibility number 3, on the rare occasion you happen to hit a place right in between storms when all the drama is still going on in the sky without getting dumped on. And the odds of getting those on a trip that you plan weeks in advance where you buy an airline ticket for, the odds of that are so small, you just can't get that stressed about it. If you plan enough of these kind of trips, some of them you're going to get lucky, some of them you're just going to get okay weather, and some of them are going to get wrecked. And that's just the reality. And for me, it would have been an 11-hour drive for me to come out here. That already destroys half of your weekend right there. So, but in the meantime, itinerary for the trip, basically it all revolves around Crater Lake. I've come up with 2 main compositions for Crater Lake I'm going to hit on 2 different mornings. One of them is a longer, maybe slightly sketchy hike out to Watchman Peak. And instead of going around the north end of Watchman Peak where there's a designated lookout point, I'm going to try to stop short of that, snowshoe into the backcountry about a quarter mile, and find a composition where Wizard Island lines up with a peak on the other side of the lake. Can't remember the name of it, but it's the tallest peak in the area. And having those 2 landmarks lined up, I think will create a really, really cool sunrise shot. And then for Sunday morning, I plan on going back to the park and just getting the classic shot from there's a landmark, there's a viewpoint everyone hikes out to. Its name is slipping me right now. But anyway, I plan on going out there for the next day. And in the meantime, I've just looked up 3 or 4 local waterfalls, a couple here in town, and then a couple that are further up north, and I'm going to try to squeeze those all in the interim between my sunrises and sunsets, and hopefully have a chance to get everything. So kind of a scatterbrained trip. I don't know the area very well. This is all brand new to me. But, first day is a little chaotic, hoping tomorrow things will go a little more smoothly. I've already managed to lose a lens cap and a foot on my tripod. I have a knack for losing photography equipment. Not a big deal when it's, little $20 gadgets like that, but hoping not to destroy any camera equipment or anything important. Brought out a pair of snowshoes for the big hike tomorrow. So anyway, a lot going on, but we'll see how this trip goes. So I'm up here on the rim right before sunrise, standing a little closer than I'd like to the edge. I'm pretty sure this is what we would call a cornice, where you have some wind-blown snow that kind of gives a false sense of security around the edge here. But, I think it's safe.
After a quick midday break, I hit the road again to chase some waterfalls.
So on my way to Tokati Falls, one of 2 waterfalls I'm doing this afternoon. Very much rainforest vibes. Reminds me of my time living in the Seattle area as a kid.
Guardrail at the viewpoint made my tripod pretty much useless, so I had to take advantage of the Hasselblad's impressive stabilization to capture this one handheld. A couple of the compositions I noticed on the hike back were too good to pass up. And often, that's the most interesting type of photography, the unplanned variety. After finishing up at the peaceful, almost curated Tokati Falls, I made my way just down the road to the more majestic, wild, and rugged Watson Falls. Went home and watched my college basketball team lose before turning in early for one last morning at Crater Lake.
So, headed back out to Discovery Point to a predetermined composition I found on the way back yesterday. And the best news is, it looks like we have some clouds today. Not a ton, but enough to make it an interesting shot.
This, in my opinion, turned out to be the shot of the trip. In just a few days' time, the rugged and isolated beauty of Crater Lake in southern Oregon blew me away. And as I make this video, I already have plans in the works for another trip back to the state of Oregon.